Greetings, loyal minions, beautiful humans. Welcome to the SciShow, the number one ranked YouTube channel for grizzly bears. If you're a grizzly bear, I appreciate you. It's time to get into another episode of What Would Sci Do, where we discuss a bit of team composition and some board play. On top of that, I am going to discuss some thoughts on Soul Exchange. So hang around till the end. I think that will be an interesting chat, and I am looking forward to hearing your opinion. So let's get into it.
What would Psy do? He's stolen through your war hits, but it's the cat that knows what to do. Psy thinks he's smart, but we all know how it goes.
Psychiatrist pulls the strings, she's the boss of this damn show.
What would Psy do?
Whatever psychiatrist tells him to.
What would Psy do?
Whatever psychiatrist tells him to. Or I'll claw his eyeballs out.
All right, a quick chat about the team on this one. So in previous What Would Sci Do videos, I haven't mentioned too much about the team. Obviously, I have no idea what heroes are available and where we are. You know, this could have been the last hit in a war and the heroes may be the best ones they've got. But I think the heroes in your team selection then ties into how you play the board. So as an example, in this one, we've got 4 yellows. When going a 4-1, I would generally have a 1. So in this case, the red hero is someone that can either heal or protect me. And the reason for that is if I get my 4, like if I get the color of my 4, you're generally going to go okay. And I feel the 1 hero is just a chance to help you extend if you're not getting your color. So that's where a heal or a taunt or anything that sort of protects your team and gives you more time to build your colors is what I would go with. In this case, I think what's happened, and it ties into the other side. So the other thing I'll quickly mention is 2 healers in the same color. I'm not saying it's not something that can work because you're still going to get the tile damage from 4 yellows. And I think in this case, it's because, one, Rosalind's not a huge healer. And I think Rosalind was selected more for the Mega Minions. So we can see there's a few Mega Minion heroes here. So I think the theory was go those Mega Minions that protects against the vegetable in Elsbeth and also against the fish dude and his Mega Fiend. So I think that's what the theory was. I think having the 3 healers, including Shao, to be honest. I think Shao's there because he can give protection against Song Jiang's silence and then cleanse the rest of the team. Rosalind also gives protection against that. So I think that was what it was all about. But I'm looking at it thinking, without the Mega Minions, or even with the Mega Minions, it's going to be hard to get the damage from special skills. There's not a huge amount of special skill damage. I think the Arleth, I think the red one's name is, does the extra damage, so that can build up over time. But I think having those thoughts then changes the way you play. Like in this case, getting the reds before the yellows probably isn't going to do anything, and that kind of ties into maybe the first move that's made. But I'll discuss that in a second. Just wanted to discuss that team first. Hope that makes sense. Just a few little things that I noticed in the team. Again, I don't know what's available. I don't know the full thoughts behind that team. I'm thinking it's the Mega Minions for the protection. But anyway, let's get into the board play. So as usual, I won't focus on every single move in the match. I'm just going to highlight a few that may have made a bigger difference. And I know, look, any move can make a difference with the butterfly effect and those sort of things, but I'll go with the ones that were more obvious or that obviously would have made a difference, like it was guaranteed it would make a difference, as opposed to possibly making a difference. So we've got all the possible moves highlighted here on the first board. It's not a great board. There's obviously not many yellows. In this case, I would be looking for a cascade, but there's really no move that can make a cascade. I'll quickly go through the moves. There's a few on the left-hand side with those greens that are all very similar. If I can't make a cascade, what I'm trying to do is put colored tiles together so I've got more options on my next move. So if we make that brown move on the top left-hand side as an example, it's not opening anything up. It could bring a purple in at the bottom, but being at the bottom, it would most likely be a very small cascade, but that is one option. We could move the red, or take the red line, which is making the Dragon Bomb with the greens. That would bring a red up, but it doesn't really set anything up. We could take either of the purple or the light pink moves, and what that would do, that's reasonably good because it does bring a purple up near the other purple, but it's also taking the purple away from the purple at the bottom. The white move is kind of not doing anything either. It's not bringing any other tiles closer to a match, apart from hoping that you get something in the bottom. Sorry, I did mention making that green move on the left-hand side wouldn't bring anything closer, so I'm talking about the white move or even the purple move. It would actually bring the yellow in, which is what a lot of people would look at because we're trying to get the yellows. But to me, it's giving you one yellow match, which is better than nothing, but I wouldn't take that until I'd assessed all the other moves on the board. So that leaves us two moves to look at, the yellow and green lines. So the yellow line will give us a red. Now that is handy because we do have a red hero who I believe is very fast. I could be wrong there. But as I mentioned, and this is where, to me, the board play matches with the team composition. In my opinion, the red hero is not really prolonging anything. If you can get that fight off, it's not like you're saving up a heal. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't think that hero heals at all. But you're not, it's not a taunt. It's not something that's going to protect your team longer to then get the yellow match up. So if we look at the green line, that will give us a match of 3 greens. It gives a chance to bring some yellows up through the middle. Now, what it also does is it moves the red to the right-hand side, which means you've still got a red match that you can make over there with a yellow tile at the bottom. So if you make that green match, you then know, even if no extra yellows come in, you know that you've got that follow-up red match where a yellow will then move up the board and has a chance to bring more with it. So again, it's not a fantastic opening board. I don't think there's any amazingly obvious great moves, but I think personally I would take the green line where I'm matching those green tiles, try to bring some more yellow up. It leaves me with a red follow-up where I know that that yellow right down the bottom is going to then be moved up the board and closer to the others. So we see the red matches taken. It brings up a few other reds, doesn't do a lot else. I'd possibly still take that green match now myself on the right-hand side. However, we take the one on the left. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So whilst the green move I originally mentioned on the right-hand side is still basically there, taking those 3 greens down through the middle to possibly bring some more yellows up, we can just see the previous move of making the green Dragon Bomb has brought a couple of extra yellows in. So now a likely move would be to click the Dragon Bomb, get that set off, and then see, well, you're moving those yellows higher up the board, so it at least gives you some yellow matches, and you may even get some more yellows in at the bottom. The Dragon Bomb is popped. That brings up some yellows. It makes a couple of different choices as to which way you would make that yellow Dragon Bomb. It's not a huge difference. You might get a vertical match one way, horizontal the other. We can then see, I believe, the red match is made next. Now, this is where I think another critical decision point comes in. With 2 ways of making a yellow match from here, we can see the white move where we're taking the 3 yellows down the middle, down the side. That could bring 3 in, any 3, you don't know what's coming in there. The other way we can make that yellow match is the purple line where we move the yellow across the top to actually use the Dragon Bomb. Now, the thinking here may have been to get the 3 match and then also pop the Dragon Bomb, which would allow you to get it 7 tiles, which I believe would be enough to charge Rosalind. So that's probably the thinking. But again, based on our team discussion, getting Rosalind will give you a heal and prolong things a little bit. But by this point, you're already looking at having a few of the enemy heroes firing, which is really going to make a difference. However, Rosalind will give you some protection against Song Jiang. So there's a few different decisions here to be made. I think at this point, understanding my team isn't damage heavy. The other thing I didn't mention earlier is we've also got a yellow healing dragon. So anyone who watches my war hits, generally when I'm taking dragons, I will take an off-color healing dragon if there's not something specific I need. Because, again, to me, it just gives you that, if you don't get your normal color, you're just prolonging it a little bit. So, again, I can understand taking the 3 yellows and then the dragon bomb. I think I personally would have taken the purple line because it just gives so many extra chances to get more yellows, and we need more yellows to win. So by using that yellow, popping the dragon bomb, not only do you get a chance to make another match on the left-hand side if a yellow comes in at the bottom, but you've also got a chance to bring a yellow in the second row across, or second column across, if that makes sense. So I think there's plenty of chances there to get another yellow. If not, you're still refreshing more tiles on the board. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I probably won't go, we'll see if there's anything else in here, but I might just skip through to the end. I don't want to like absolutely drown everyone with these videos with this move and this move and this move and this move. It's just looking at some critical points. So if there's no more critical points, I won't mention them, but stick around until the end. I want to have a discussion about Soul Exchange. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm also interested in your thoughts on these videos, so let me know as much as you can. I really appreciate it. Let's move on. I've sped this up a little bit. We'll see the move is taken down the side, and we can see then when you take the dragon bomb, yes, Rosalind is charged, but you've already lost Shao. Song Jiang's fired anyway. So at this point, you're really behind the 8 ball. That's why I think taking the move with the dragon bomb was a better option. It just gave a chance to get those yellows straight away, as opposed to waiting. And as I said, by this time, it's basically over. You're just not going to have the damage there with those heroes to get what you need. So this is why I'm not assessing these moves. Look, it would be an extremely small chance to win from here when they've got Fiends, they've got Healing, they've got Silence, and they've got a Mega Minion. So I think it shows the importance of really making those early decisions and trying to set the board up as early as you can to at least get something. But again, I think it also highlights that team composition of making sure you're taking heroes and understanding how you're going to win against the team you're going against. Anyway, onto the Soul Exchange. I've had a lot of questions floating around about Soul Exchange and whether there's any teasers or hero list out yet. I believe they will start coming out next week, so keep an eye out for that. We'll definitely be on the ball and try to give you as much information as early as possible. But in the meantime, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. So the first is a little game that's running on Discord. Nice little bit of fun, run by Elioti33, as we can see. It's basically a Soul Exchange prediction league. So you drop your predictions in there and there's a chance of winning. Well, you get points, and it does mention there's a possible reward there that's still being discussed. So we'll run down. So basically, this is what you do. You stick your predictions in there as to which heroes you think will be in the 10, 15, and 20 soul tier. So jump on over to Discord. I know a lot of people are trying to get into Discord. I've put a video out on becoming familiar with Discord. So this is just another great chance to utilize it a little bit, familiarize yourself with it. And play along if you want to, or just read other people's predictions and see, how many, if anyone gets anything right. It could give you a hint that they just are very intuitive, and it might be worth, looking at their suggestions each time to see if they keep being correct. Now, further to this, I have come up with a suggestion that I've sent through to staff, and I would really love your opinion on some ideas as well. So, in my opinion, Soul Exchange has become a little stale already. The reception from the community to the last few, the common comment is, this is the worst Soul Exchange ever, this is the worst Soul Exchange ever. We've had those discussions before. We try to stay on the positive side. We look at the heroes in there that are worthwhile and how they can be used. But I also think it is time for a little bit of a refresh. Now, I'm not talking about major changes. I would love major changes, but just something different in the meantime. So my suggestion, and again, I would love to hear what your thoughts are. there's different things about increasing tiers and all that sort of thing. I'm talking about leaving it the same, but I would love to see community input into the heroes that are available. So I have sent a suggestion through. I haven't had a response. I've only just sent it through this morning. But my idea would be to have either content creators and or members of the community put together their list. Now, obviously people would just put in all the fantastic heroes. Now, I know that's not going to happen, so I'm trying to keep this realistic. So my suggestion to staff was that they give us a pool of heroes, and that can be any sort of pool. They can just say, here's a chunk of heroes, pick your list out of this. They could say you can pick any hero you want, but keep the power of the hero under, 1,000 or 1,100 or whatever it may be. Or they could just say you can pick any hero that's older than, 18 months old. It could be any of those, but I think that would give us a great chance. And then it could work different ways. They could let, content creators could make videos about which heroes they're picking, or they could get their viewers to vote on which heroes to put in the list. They could discuss why they've chosen those heroes, or as a collective, the content creators and or community, it doesn't have to be content creators, just the community in general. It could just be some polls through Discord. But I think collectively we could then come up with a list. It could be an idea for content where the content creators all jump on and have a sort of roundtable discussion and pick the heroes that we feel should be in Soul Exchange. My specific want for Soul Exchange are heroes that are useful. They don't have to be the most powerful, but people with unique skills that can be really useful in certain areas. Dark Feather's one that always pops up. He's fantastic against Titans, so it just gives that... it gives players a chance to have that one hero that they can use in a few different scenarios. So yeah, that was my idea. I think it would be great. So I think my favorite idea would be to have the content creators and or community members, but I think the content creators are great because you can then see the process unfold of who they're picking and why they're picking. And then once the content creators have picked their own list, I feel Empires and Puzzles could then advertise those lists and have a poll so that the community actually picks their favorite list out of all those, and that's the one that we get in Soul Exchange. I think it's not only great for the community, for the content creators, but also for Empires and Puzzles, because I think it gives a great... sorry, something's just popped up there on the screen. It gives a great engagement, I think, from the game. Shows the game is listening to the community and willing to try things. They're still capping the heroes that are going to be given, so we're not giving the absolute best heroes in Soul Exchange, but I think it just means there's a bit more input and a bit more knowledge behind those selections that are made. To me, I think it would be a great thing. Let me know your thoughts. I think it would be fantastic. Each creator could get people to vote on the heroes, so, even more community engagement. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Hope that all makes sense. Love to hear your thoughts. Drop me a comment. As always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, remember to gently press the subscribe button. Give your kitty a script for me. Have a bloody good one.